buzzwords will come and go, but entrepreneurship is as old as time immemorial. Actually, every business is about problem solving.
Okay.
Because if you're not solving a problem, a
You don't have a
consumer will
consumer.
not pay for it.
Yes.
The entrepreneur's journey, like life, is challenging at every stage.
Yes.
The scale of problems change. Creativity comes out when you don't have any money, actually. Investor is like, and co-founders, it's like getting married. So you have to be very, very careful who you get married to. You don't want to get divorced. As an entrepreneur, team building and starting team building early is very, very critical. When it's professional, discussion, work related, business first,
Yes.
ego second.
Ajay, we welcome you to the Startup Mahakumbh 2024. It is in the Bharat Mandapa. I don't know how often you've been here, but how is the experience been to come here and be in the startup ecosystem where you're eventually actually a part of the startup world?
So this is my first time in Bharat Mandapa,
Okay.
but I've been to Pragati Madan many times over the last few years, and this is absolutely impressive. I'm really, really blown away by the infrastructure and what the government has built, and it kind of showcases you what the opportunity of India lies ahead. It's
Yes.
very inspiring, right? So for what they used to say, when you come to a country, you can judge it by the airport.
Yes.
I feel judging the mandapa shows you how much the government and really cares about the future of entrepreneurship.
That's true. I think they've set an example when it comes to infra development in the country. This is one of them. Coming to understand the startups, this buzzword startup, unicorn, business, being an entrepreneur, which is the word that you attach yourself to when you introduce yourself? I am an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, I'm a startup guy, or what? How do you look at yourself?
I think the word is I'm an entrepreneur,
Yes.
right? See, buzzwords will come and go, but entrepreneurship is as old as time immemorial, because what it essentially means is people who are challenging the conventional way of doing things, looking at a problem, figuring out if there's a solution and if it can be done in a better way, find an insight, build a product around it, and make consumers' life easier.
Do you think people are breaking the traditional business ways? I mean, the businesses that were happening for decades in the generation before, they wouldn't look to solve the problem but just make profits or sell the product, and now people are only going by problem-solving method?
No, I think actually every business is about problem solving.
Okay.
Because if you're not solving a problem, a
You don't have a
consumer will
consumer.
not pay for it.
Yes.
But it is cyclical, trends come and go, right? But the core essence of any business is essentially to make profit. Otherwise,
Yes.
you're
How
not a
will you
business,
sustain?
then you're not a charity, right?
Yes.
Then you're a charity. So the core essence, yes, it might be fancy that I want to be high burn, and those things come and go. And today we are in an environment where building strong, fundamental-oriented businesses are in fashion, and maybe it will go out of fashion, but essentially a business built on fundamentals of cash flow, profit, consumer love, they will never go out
So
of fashion.
consumer is the king till today for all the businesses.
Always, yeah.
Always. If I look at your business, it is somewhere into a space which is already very difficult to compete with certain brands which have etched themselves as synonymous to the beverage industry. So how did you guys even think of coming in that space and making your mark? Because when we talk about coffee, a lot of words have already associated with it. Conversation, certain brands.
Yeah.
So was it difficult first to bring that understanding that this market is not completely saturated?
Yeah.
Because some brands have come in early in that. How difficult your journey? Because every journey is different.
See,
So-
in any brand's journey, there's two parts. One is category creation. So the erstwhile brands created great categories, and those are products we grew up consuming. And then there is second part, which is called disruption of the category. And that cycle goes on and on, like life and death. Brands get created and die, and so on and so forth. We believed at that point that the category had become stale, whereas they were used to a certain way of consumption, and because they'd scaled and established themselves, they were not willing to innovate.
Okay.
A new age brand like ours saw that as an opportunity that a lot of younger generation is now prefers coffee as a consumption beverage over
Yes.
tea and other sort of beverages available. But they want something different, something innovative, something unique. They care about the quality, product, sustainability. So we packaged all that into Sleepy Owl and we launched it.
You know, all the startup doers have certain questions and understanding they want. When you have an idea, you find your consumer or you find a market where you can bring your product out. Is that enough, or there the journey begins? Because then you need to place it. The product market fit is one.
Yeah.
Second is to strategize to really market it out. Major financial requirement comes in marketing it out. So is the struggle, you had your struggle more in marketing and bringing it to the public, understanding this is the brand and you should try it. How difficult was that part, or was it some other part of your journey which was more challenging, maybe raising fund or maybe creating innovation and varieties around your product?
I think the entrepreneur's journey, like life, is challenging at every stage.
Yes.
The scale of problems change. Retrospectively, what you look back and say 5 years ago, what you thought was challenging today is a walk in the park, but you have a new challenge. So having that flexible mindset to be open and know that the path will be filled with resistance, filled with failure, ups and downs, is the only way to keep your head above the water. And that's how I view it. Like, it just is that, the initially idea I feel is the easiest thing to do, but it comes down to essentially execution, like getting the product right, building a brand around it, then focusing on marketing when you don't have any money.
Yes.
Then you have money, then you don't know what to do.
So the time goes, mismatch. When you have the money, you don't have the
Yeah.
market, or you don't know what to do, as you said. And when you
Yeah.
don't have the money, then you want to market it out. So
Yeah, and I feel when a brand is resource starved, that is the best way to build it, because creativity comes out when you don't have any money, actually.
can you share an anecdote? Did you go through that space where you guys were in that situation that
We
you
didn't
were
have.
struggling with financial support, maybe, or maybe
Yeah, of
some
course,
kind of...
we didn't. I mean, from get go, like, we didn't have capital in the early days, super bootstrapped. That meant that we didn't have money to pay designers to do designing, to camera or photographers to do product
How would you hold
photography.
them up to be with you?
So then one of us had to learn to do it. But
Oh
what
my
it
God.
required was that it made it more authentic. So as a function of it, Sleepy Owl today is known for its design and its voice
Yes,
and
of course.
how we position the product. It is very authentic to us as to me and my co-founders, because we all did it in-house in the
Yes.
early days. It was our insights and our inputs. And today we continue to keep that part of our business that made us who we are in-house.
So the whole Sleepy Owl brand, where do you see the brand really fit into people's mind? Is it because of its flavor? Is it because of there's a brand catch when I see your product? When I notice that owl, also I know
Yeah.
it's you. So how did that organically fit in? The who chose the design, or how did this work? Because I don't know about the taste. How the taste have, you can
Yeah.
tell me better. People have resonated with which flavor, what has really gone into the right pitch. But what has worked out is the brand identity that you've created with the packaging as well.
Yeah, see, for consumer packaged goods, the most important thing first is the product.
Okay.
Because we are a food and beverage product, you have to taste it and it has to be good. It has to be have certain differentiating characters that make a consumer want to pick it up. And those characters, A, are product oriented, that once they consume it, they should want to consume it again. And B is the packaging. How clutter breaking is
Yes.
it? Does it stand out in an aisle? So brand identity, from the name Sleepy Owl to the logo, was very, very critical. We didn't invent it. I mean, greatest of brands are built on that. Coca-Cola, Apple, and everyone's done it before us. So we
Yes.
just took a page out of their playbook.
Why did Sleepy Owl come into picture? It's like the word.
It was just a fun play of words. It doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
And I think, like, generally brand names, when they're too specific,
Yes.
you get lost in that. So it was just a fun play of words. My co-founder Ashwajit came up with it. in essence, it also means something that it's
Yes,
a
it is a wake up thing. Is
it's
that
an
how?
oxymoron,
Okay.
and that's where people. It's when you're sleepy, you have coffee, and you
Yes, yes,
owl doesn't sleep at night, and you'll become an owl
yes,
after
yes.
drinking
True.
it. But the idea is that because as a consumer brand, you have to create memorability. That you can do through your design language or your packaging. So for us, both those things are very critical because in a retail aisle, the consumer has a few seconds to snap
Yes.
through. So when they look at Sleepy Owl, they always get confused. What do you mean Sleepy Owl? How can the owl be sleepy?
Yes.
So it works for us. At least wants them to go and try it and pick it up.
How challenging has the competition been for you to break through? As you said, destructing some brand, creating innovation was where you thought they stalled.
Yeah.
Did you really find it easy after that? You came up with innovation and you made your way through, no obstructions, things were easy, you were out there, or still, after a point, you come back to being hit by those brands because you're disrupting their market? So,
No, I think we're very, very, very small for them to care. And that's a good thing
okay.
because they allow us to be. But kudos to what they've built. I mean, in a country like India, building distribution is a key moat that any business in the food FMCG space needs. Building that is super challenging. So that innovation part is the first right to exist for
Okay.
you. After that, right to play or right to win comes with very different attributes of business. Team plays a very big role. Supply chain, how are you going to distribute, how are you going to market it in a way when you don't have limitless resources. So every day is a challenge. It doesn't stop. But I mean, as long as you're having fun, what you're creating is reaching a consumer who comes back with some form of love and some form of validation that they enjoyed the product that you've created.
I think that is very heart touching. That is very
And
encouraging.
that's the energy we need to keep going. That's it.
And I need to understand one more aspect from you. We have been talking to so many investors, and we have got this understanding that it is when the founder sources fund or looks for investors, it is also their duty to look for the right kind of investors, and not always the investors to have the right to do the due diligence for the founders or
Yeah.
get the right founders. When you guys were in that stage or still looking out, how do you go about choosing your investors? What is that criteria that matches your need or your parameters for them to fit in?
Well, investor is like, and co-founders.
Yes, of
and
course.
investors also, it's like getting married. So you have
Yes.
to be very, very careful who you get married to. You don't want to get divorced.
It can be a gamble as well.
Oh, it should not
Should
be
not be.
like ideally do your ref checks, but having and we've been very fortunate. We were very clear about that. We wanted the right people who would help us on this long journey because entrepreneur's journey, like I said, is filled with many ups and downs, and you just want the right people backing you and believing
Yes,
in you.
true.
Even when sometimes you might lose
There might be
belief
some
in
crisis
yourself,
situations.
they have your back, and I think that in itself gives you so much confidence.
So in your team, who is the person who is your back? Like you depend on most. In the co-founder team of yours, who is
I mean,
backing whom?
all three of us back each other always.
How
right?
often do you guys go into the conflict zone of taking a decision and leave the decision, or one takes the call, or it goes like into who's the
Well,
majority pick?
No, there's no majority pick. Obviously, there is conflict.
Yes.
It's critical.
It's a healthy
It's
sign.
called creative destruction.
Yes.
We fight like crazy, and you're supposed to, because otherwise that means you're not doing right by the business.
True.
But we have unsaid rules because we were friends, and Ashwajit and I are childhood friends, grew up together. Arman and Ashwajit went to law school together, and they've been friends before business happened. So we have a rule that has worked very well for us and I think kudos to both of them and shows maturity on their part to continue with it, is that whenever a discussion happens, we will always, when it's professional discussion, work related, business first,
Yes.
ego second, right?
Oh my God.
Anyone can, if they feel the an argument is happening and they're losing out because of a person's ego, you pull that wild card out, that is this a business first decision or an ego first, and
This is like
always helps
self-interest.
us.
That's a very interesting thing. I think this is a
Yeah.
takeaway everybody should do.
Yeah.
Because this is where sometimes, the marriages fail. As you said, it is like a
Yeah,
marriage.
I agree with you, and I think that's one rule we've held till date, and that is the reason we're together.
So you must be having one calm soul, one little more steadfast.
Everyone
Everybody
has
has their own
calm and
temperament. Both sides to them.
It's like split personality. You have all sides
You
of
try to
that.
invoke what is good for the company and then work
Yeah,
around it.
like I think as long as you have a logical approach to problem solving and you know what you're trying to do, essentially should be the best for the business
True.
to the best of your ability, and you put that foot forward and have an open mind, I think that is what is critical.
But coming from doing the beverage, like drinking coffee, how much coffee do you drink in a day? Honestly.
Yeah, easy, like 5, 6
And do
cups,
you always prefer your own brand?
always.
Honestly.
Yeah, I can't
Come
drink.
on, everybody needs a change
Unless,
of taste sometimes in
no,
your
no,
own.
no, like I think we make the best coffee and I like consistency in life. So my life is very chaotic outside of my day-to-day, daily habits.
Yeah.
Those I want to be the same boring thing again and again or entertaining or
So
fixed things.
where do we, okay, coming to Mahakumbh, there's so many incubators and startup doers. If you have to leave them with two don'ts and do's, it is called, again, I'm not asking you to be a preacher. You've been in your own journey, they're in their own.
Yeah.
But what is that you would say is essentially you've discovered these are the basic rules. As you said, unsaid rules of ego and fight. You know, choose logic over your ego.
Yeah.
What are the rules at different stages that you think the startup people who have ambitions, maybe to become a unicorn also, should hold on to?
There are no rules.
That's the
Right?
first rule.
Yeah, there should be no rules. I mean, you break the rules, fight the law,
Okay.
and that's what entrepreneurs' journey is about. But yes, I think be honest. Like I would only say basic things. Like definitely always be honest. Be on. Be.
Honest about your product? Or?
Everything: product, law, governance, ethics. These things are that these are compounding factors and
Okay.
they'll go a long way, right? Take the hits if you have to, but don't breach on that fine line of honesty and
And the last
dishonesty.
question is about the unicorn. How do you look at this being a unicorn or the term I want to be a unicorn? Do you believe in that?
I mean, I think it's see again fashionable and not fashionable.
Yes.
What I said it today. If you ask anyone, they would rather be cash flow
Generating.
profitable businesses than being those things don't go out of fashion.
Does valuation number put a pressure on the companies who are making it big? Because sometimes your valuation numbers are so high, but your operating profits and your top line do take a hit and you can't even come out of that.
Yeah, but then you learn your lesson and you'll fix it the next time around, right? It's as long as you're continuing to solve problems and you're motivated and you're trying to build something, uh, have impact beyond yourself. You'll make mistakes. That's part of journey, like valuations, validation, unicorn. All those things come and go.
So
It's
taking from your answer, I know I wanted to close it with that question, but
yeah.
3 mistakes that you think you guys have done, or you think particularly you have learned or done in your journey. And be honest.
Only 3.
Only 3. You're good enough to say your mistakes out loud. I wouldn't have been so easy. But if you think you've learned 3 things, which went wrong?
I think number one most important thing is that in your journey as an entrepreneur, team building and starting team building early is very
Okay.
critical because it is the people you hire and build with you and who are driven equally on that mission. Uh, very critical. So I wish I knew that earlier in my journey. I found out later. Uh, and we've been lucky to have some great people who've come in the organization and have really helped us become the brand we are. Uh, I think over expansion before you found product market fit, especially when you're a FMCG product company, can hurt you even before you realize how it's a step by step process. You can't.
Sometimes you do get carried away, right?
You get carried away by accelerated growth. It does sound fancy and fun, but sometimes realistically, knowing that things just compound slowly and take their own course of time, they're very important to know. And I think always remembering that restraint and in terms of being capital efficient are always the golden rules of building business. So know that, stick to it, and keep building.
I think you've told us the fundamental ways of being stable in your business, which the learnings that you've taken
Yeah.
from your journey. And thank you so much, Ajay. I think you're a great speaker.
Thank you.
I'm not being too candid or personal to you because there's so much to talk that goes on a long podcast.
Yeah.
But I think you're very much clear about the way you have led your journey and how you want to take it ahead.
Yeah, it's
So it was
experience.
really.
I've made all the mistakes. So today I have some little bit wisdom, I would say.
So one quick thing, just tell me what comes to you to build up these characters in a person. One is confidence. Just one word.
I don't know how passion will come into a person, because you can't. Passion comes from probably from within, not from external
Yes,
things.
it is something you're interested in.
Yeah, so I don't know how, what, if instants in your life can build passion in you.
And success.
Failure again, right? You need, I mean, success comes through character,
character.
right? So success comes through resilience, which comes through failure and pain, misery. All those
All
things
those things
lead
that
to
lead you to
building
find your
character, that you'll stand strong in even the toughest of times. I think that's how I view it.
Thank you so much, Ajay. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure talking to you.
Cheers. Thank you.